Hi, everybody. Mrs. Ibinger. We're getting ready to start Chapter 4 of Monster Street, The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. Chapter 4, Pumpkin Secrets. Max wandered along the edge of the neighbor's pumpkin patch, wishing he was back home playing his Xbox. He already missed the electric pulse of the city, the noises, the movement, the surprises at every turn. Out here in the middle of nowhere, everything was too still, too quiet, and too boring. What kind of people don't have electricity in their homes? This is the 21st century, he thought. What am I supposed to do for the next 3 days? He glanced down at his red hoodie. Oh, hold on. He glanced down at his red hoodie with the silver zipper gleaming in the afternoon light. He wondered how a piece of clothing could protect him from anything other than the cold weather. Max then noticed a disfigured pumpkin growing nearby. It looked like an old shriveled up witch with tumors growing out of its base. He was just about to kick it over when a gentle voice invaded his ears. "Good afternoon, Mrs. Fezziwig." "Oh, hello there, Mr. Prickles. How are the kids, Mrs. Wormsworth?" Max turned and saw a girl about his age wearing overalls, her long brown braids bouncing around like jump ropes as she skipped through the pumpkin patch. She patted each pumpkin, speaking to them as if they were her best friends. Max couldn't decide whether he should say something, partially in fear of disturbing her daydream, but also because he suspected she might be a little crazy. He cleared his throat, deciding it best to make his presence known. The girl froze. She looked up at him for an awkward moment with her soft brown eyes. "Do you have names for all of your pumpkins?" Max finally asked, noticing that the blue ribbon in her hair matched the color of the sky. "Only the orange ones," she teased with a playful smirk. They both laughed, and Max immediately liked her. "I'm Max Bloodknight," he said, putting out his hand. "I'm Jade Holler. I live next door," the girl said, pointing to the white two-story house beyond the pumpkin patch. "You're not from around here, are you?" "Is it obvious?" Max asked. She shot a look at his trendy tennis shoes, the newest Vans on the market. They were a stark contrast to her muddy, well-worn boots. Lucky guess," she said with a grin. "As you can imagine, we don't get many city kids around here." "Well, I'm staying with my Gramps and Grammy," Max said, motioning toward the cabin. The brightness in Jade's eyes instantly dimmed. "Oh," she said. "Oh, what's wrong?" he asked. Jade glanced down at the ground, unsure if she should say anything. "Well, my dad tells me to stay away from them." "Really?" Max asked. "I just met them, but they seem nice." "Probably because you're their grandson," Jade said. "But my dad tells me to stay away from pretty much everyone." Max considered this for a moment, and then he remembered that Granny had told him not to trust anyone either, even the neighbors. "Well, what does your dad do?" "He's a pumpkin farmer." Max looked around at the sea of pumpkins, realizing Jade's father had planted every one of them. "So, what do you do for fun out here besides naming pumpkins?" he asked, hoping to ease his way out of the conversation. "Well, don't get me wrong. I'm sure you have to make friends however you can in a place where there are only 634 people in the entire county, but well, there used to be more people here," Jade revealed. "Well, what happened to them all?" he asked. Jade took a careful step toward Max. "They disappeared." Max felt the breath leave his lungs. Disappeared? I figured they had all just moved away from here over time. Jade shook her head and stepped closer to Max. I'll tell you what I heard at school, but you can't tell your grandparents that I told you anything, okay? People around here don't really like to talk about it. Okay, Max promised, already feeling guilty. He was torn between his desire to obey his grandparents and the curiosity he now felt about what Jade was saying. He wasn't sure who to trust. That's when Jade gestured for them to start walking out of the pumpkin patch and through the nearby field toward the forest.